So hi, everybody. Steve Cady here with our DODC Cohort 4 Wednesday webinar, or Wednesday check-in, excuse me. And we're going to basically check in and see how people are doing. There's no major announcements right now. We have a lot of things that we talked about in the last one that I shared with you all, which was on the 5th Wednesday, if we ever have one, it's a general open community one. And in that one, Matt has posted on the playlist, and I think we sent it out to everybody. In that one, we talked about electives. We talked about this possibility of doing an independent study elective on a personal growth retreat or intensive experience, which is done with NTL or Tavistock or Gestalt. And you can go and attend one of their intensives and write a report on the experience, and it's an independent study that would count as an elective. And I am going to be encouraging more of that because I think that experience is really important to have. And it's also a personal choice if you want to go down into a really intensive personal growth retreat type experience. But it is the foundation for our work. It's one of the T groups. They call them human interaction labs. They talk about that. So I talked about that on the previous one. So just go back to the playlist and look at the previous one to see where I talked in detail about that and how it works. And you can reach out to me and I'll bring it up again with you all as we go. Matt just put in how you can subscribe to the playlist. And there's different playlists, but there's the playlist for the program is a playlist of all of our Wednesday webinars. And so you can go into that full playlist. I think, Matt, we might even be thinking about just keeping one rather than one for every cohort. We just keep an overall list. We always say cohort 1 meeting, cohort 2 meeting, cohort 3 meeting. It's all in one playlist. It's the Wednesday cohort sessions that we have. And then whenever we do a symposia, that's a different playlist, but I think all the cohort ones should all be in one playlist just to keep it simple.
Okay, I'll start doing that.
Yeah, because I think it's easy because sometimes there's stuff we talk about in one or the other, and the students will want to look at that. And because we're going to put a nice description in so everybody gets a sense of what we're talking about. So go back to the playlist, check the last one. I'll talk about that. Other than that, things are moving along nicely. We're in the thick of it with the classes, new faculty, meetings, you name it. There's the homecoming with the 100-year anniversary. They're putting a lot of attention on that. It's going to be a lot of fun. And right now, I think it's about taking one class at a time and not worrying about having your dissertation figured out, not worrying about having your committee figured out, not worrying about all that stuff. I think you take your one class at a time and think about electives. I think that's pretty much where you should be at. Take your class, get to know your cohort, enjoy that, and maybe look ahead and kind of think about what electives you might want. We've given you tutorials. Herb met with you to go over that with you, so you've had your one-on-ones. So I suspect you all should be in a pretty good place. So with that, I'll stop, and we'll start with Deborah because we want to know who she poked with her finger. You're going to have to tell that story and just check in, tell us how you're doing and what's going on. And if you have any questions that are going to help you with the program, knowing that tomorrow we'll talk about class assignments. If you need anything today, just know I'm absolutely open to asking it. But if we can do it today, make sure you maybe ask it again tomorrow.
Okay, so I won't be there tomorrow because of work. But my finger, so last week, I typically work from home, but occasionally I have to go into the office to meet with vendors or whatever. And when I went in last week, I pushed open a door and the sliding thingy on the door slid back into my finger and I heard crack. And I said, oh, shit. And I thought that it would be okay, though it hurt, until the next morning when I woke up and it was huge and still hurting, if probably worse actually. So I went in and found that I'd broken it. This wasn't last week, this is probably a couple of weeks ago now. I don't remember. All the days are blurring together, Dr. Katie, that's your fault. Yep. I am doing better this week, I think. Last week, I was feeling a little overwhelmed. and struggling a little bit, still questioning whether or not I was in the right place. Dr. Katie, you know, probably write about that in every post about whether I'm supposed to be here. And I appreciate your encouragement and your reassurances. And I also appreciate the same from my peers, because you guys are really good about saying, you got this and we got you. So this week I actually am feeling a lot better about things. Now my problem really is that I have too many topics that I want to write about. And so trying to figure out how to narrow it down, because I'm realizing they're all kind of connected. But I'm realizing that I do know where my passion is. I may not know how to articulate it really yet, but I kind of have the idea about where it is. And I think it was you, Crystal, who commented on that very early on, that everything that I write, there seems to be like an underlying thread in there, or underlying theme. And I just needed to kind of pull that thread to help me to figure out where I want to go. And now that I've pulled the thread, there are a whole lot of threads. And so, but I am thoroughly enjoying this overwhelming experience. My nephew told me last week, he said, Auntie, only 2%, I don't know if his numbers are right, only 2% of people have a PhD. He was like, and you're going to be one of them. And at the end of this, you're going to look back and say, that was a breeze. Everybody should do that. He was like, he said, this is how you always start. So this is no different. And I have complete confidence that you'll come through on the other side. So that meant a lot to me and warmed my little heart. So that's all I have for now.
Awesome. You're in the right place. Learning how to deal with this experience is part of the skill set. This is not an intellectual process. It's like teaching kids how to calm themselves down, and the skills for self-management, and the skills for self-awareness, and situational awareness, and intentional action, which are the three elements of use of self that you'll learn more about later. So it's normal that you're there, and and if you weren't there, I'd say there's something wrong. Just like if you write your first paper and don't say this is crap, there's something wrong. Okay, you might say it's crap, but it's still going to be published ready. There's nobody that writes a book, does a play, writes a song that doesn't sometimes walk away and go, man, I don't like the song, and people, that's amazing, right? You'll never, so it's just normal. And that's where I talk about perfection is the enemy of progress.
Yes.
And the importance to be mindful of that. I think the last thing I would offer to you, Deb, is you got all these topics. You can have all of them. You can let it swim. Call it the parking lot of ideas. Okay, I call that the pool of goo. Okay, like Gru, the cartoon, the pool of goo, right? And that's the place where you allow lots of stuff to be. It's like your sticky notes. It's like my board behind me. That's like lots of stuff goes up there, and then I erase it all off eventually, and then start over again. So that's normal and necessary, because you got to allow this divergent thinking. You got to allow the creative process to flow, and you're learning the skill for how to do convergent, divergent thinking. Diverge, get creative, divert, converge into on something, and diverge out. The key thing here is to pick one thing that you're willing to learn about right now. Of all those topics, pick the one small little thing that you'd love to explore a little bit, talk about, and write about. It's not the end all. You just got to, hey, you go to a buffet, there's a lot of stuff, but you got a plate. You can only put so much on it. Right? So pick for today, for that first go up to the buffet, because I'll go 3 times. But pick for the first round up to the buffet, just pick what you want for that round, right? You can only pick a few key pieces of items. Pick that and stay on that and work on how to keep the scope narrow, and how do you enrich that and make that one cool point that you want to make in 7 minutes, and in your 1,500 to 2,000, 2,500 words, make it focused on that. And we can help you with that, but you got to stay in that, because I can promise you, if you add a bunch of other stuff, it'll add more work. Stay on one little point and it's less work. Okay. Because
Thank
you're
you.
on one point. If you add 5, now you got to learn about all 5 and figure out how they relate. Stay on the one point that matters, that you really are excited about to learn about. Okay. And use the class, use me, use your cohort. And like I said, I'll give you $1 million by Monday if you have your presentation ready. I know you'd have it done by Monday if I told you you had $1 million ready waiting for you if you got it done.
Yep.
So, okay. So I know you can do it. I mean, you know you can do it. You just got to lock in on something. So I'll stop there. So pick someone else.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, I get to pick someone. Let's pick Lauren.
And Tom, before you go, do you have anything that you want to say before you go? Okay. All right, cool. All right. Hey, Lauren.
Hey, I am doing well this week. I feel like I have continuously improved on my deadline submission. So I just want to keep going on that train. This discussion post 3, as a person who said that, you know, I don't enjoy writing, much like Ogechi, and I always struggle to meet word counts. This was the first assignment, I think, ever in my academic career that I didn't have to go back and make sure I got at least, you know, 2/3 of the requirement. So I was really happy with discussion post 3.
Thanks, Lauren. Any questions?
It's pretty straightforward.
Okay. Pick someone and go next.
I'll pick Jennifer.
Right. Well, I must be in the right place, because every time I look at a discussion post, I think this is crap. So mine is what I'm saying. But no, overall, it's been going well. I think that there's so much information, and I am probably, I want to know what I don't know now, and I know it's going to be a long time coming to understand what's all out there. And so like what I've been trying to do a little bit each day is I have this on my nightstand, and so I'll read maybe 7 pages a night. So my goal is to get through this whole book by the end of the year. But by doing small steps and really trying to just increase my knowledge overall. So, but yeah, so that's how I'm doing and what I'm doing. So I will pick Crystal.
So what I'll say, just real quick for you and Lauren, that's good that you're in a kind of a good kind of place. You're feeling you're getting into the rhythm of things, and that's good. And I think your point about you must be in the right place. If you look at your discussion board, close, go, oh man, right? It's getting comfortable with imperfection as a source of good work, right? Imperfection doesn't mean it's bad work. Bad work is work that you didn't give attention to. You follow?
Yes.
If you don't give it attention, it's bad work. It's going to be bad work. But if you gave it attention and put your thoughts and your mind into it and wrote something, and you made sure it was clear and it was complete, you answered the questions, and you're addressing it, you're going to feel like it's not good. You're not going to feel good about it, because you're still learning to be comfortable with imperfection, because the more you know, the more you don't know. So it's being comfortable in that space and using that as a source of inspiration, as opposed to a source of like feeling bad, right? You begin to get excited by confusion. You begin to get excited by all this crazy stuff that you're learning. You get excited by, oh man, I could fix that, but man, I'm going to stop now and move on to the next thing. And it feels so good to check it off the box and be done. It's like cleaning a car, or cleaning something up. It's not going to be perfect, spotless, but boy, it sure feels good to have it nicely done, So
So
Yeah.
I do that thought made me think of a quick question. So I hope Crystal doesn't mind if I ask. How do you deal with kind of that comparison issue where, so I often find, I'll feel pretty good about what I put out there, but then I will be reading other people and I'll be like, oh, I didn't do that, or I didn't do this. And like, oh, I could improve on that. And I always remind myself, we're all in different places, and it's definitely not a competition. It's how do we individually improve? But how do you deal with that?
My recommendation to you is to allow both of them to be there at the same time. You have to compare yourself to others. You're in a competitive world. You're trying to differentiate yourself. You're going to be a thought leader. You're in a program with other smart people. When you look at their work, you're going to go, oh, I could have done better there. Oh, I learned something from that. Oh, that's a good idea from there. So use it as inspiration to make yourself better. And at the same time, allow yourself to be where you're at and be kind to yourself and allow yourself to learn, and be in a space where you say, I'm okay. I'm making progress. But you're going to ask yourself questions like, am I putting enough time in? And you're going to see other people putting the time in and do it. You see the results and you're going to be like, I got to recalibrate where I need to focus. Or you're going to learn a new idea, or somebody's going to be really good at something. And you're going to say, I'm borrowing that way of them doing it because that's going to be part of me. That's why we do it in the discussion board, so that you can learn and cross-pollinate and crowdsource and support each other and set that playing field that you want for each other. You play better tennis when you play against somebody better than you, right? Later, right? So I would say allow it to be both, and use it as a source of information, improvement, and that kind of thing, without it becoming something that puts you down. But that's where you got to manage yourself. Like, how do you protect yourself and take good care of yourself, and how you compare yourself to others? How does that resonate with you? What do you
Yeah.
take away from that?
No, that's what I try to do, is when I see somebody else who it is kind of that source of inspiration, where you think about the leaders you look up to that are doing just like these great things, and you think, how can I be more like that? But I also want to make sure that I'm just the best version of me. I don't want to be a copy of what
Right.
somebody else is doing.
You'll never be, no matter how much you borrow from other people. Even if you pull it on and you put on the same outfit. You ever seen those stars where they take stars wearing the same outfits?
Mhm.
They never look the same, even though they're wearing the same outfit, right? So it'll never be the same. It'll become you. Tom is my inspiration for running. He kicks my butt. But when I went running with him, I got instantly better. Seriously, I ran more than I ever ran in my life, further than I ever ran in my life. But I wouldn't have done it if I hadn't run with him. And I was challenged. Like, I want to be like Tom, right? So, but it was good. Tom in a good way was encouraging me, but he didn't let me off the hook. He made sure that so it was good. Yeah. She was wondering what the heck he was doing, man. I was running 7-8 miles, man. I run 3-4 miles at the most. So, well, that's good. Jennifer, great questions. I'm so glad you're here. Who do you want to go next?
Crystal.
Crystal. Hi, Crystal.
Okay, so it's pajama day at school. I don't normally wear my hair like this and I'm in PJs, but I gotta support the kids, right? So I feel like I felt like I was in a rhythm until this week, with the quick post and then have all your responses done today. So tonight, that's what I'm going to be doing, responding. So I hope some of y'all are on there responding so I can respond to you as well. Okay, Deborah, I'm looking for you. But I will say that I have really appreciated, we've kind of created a Facebook group and a Slack group where we've just been in communication outside of these formal situations, which has been great, because I feel like I know these ladies now, and we've had laughs together. And so I feel like the camaraderie is there. And that's just building that investment in each other. And being able to go and say, I have no idea what I'm doing, help me out here. And there's always somebody. And so I'm really appreciative of that aspect of the work right now. I don't really have any program questions. I feel like Jennifer and I may be kindred spirits. I just finished my meeting with Steve like about an hour ago. And so I'm definitely feeling like and working through that perfectionism piece and that comparison piece. And kind of what one of the things I came to yesterday is I'm worried about my work being perfect for other people, but I'm never going to really know what they think about my work. You know, like it's about me that I want to be perfect for me, and I got to let go of that. So I'm working on letting go of that. And I really appreciate what Jennifer said about the comparison piece, because I can fall into that trap really easily too. Like, dang, they sound so smart. I sound so common. but it is, you know, it is great because you start to like pick up on the way people talk about things or their perspectives and really are challenged by that. So I appreciate the conversation that kind of came out of that too. So that's all I have. I mean, I think I'm doing okay. Keeping my head above water, staying on track with my planner, and just trying to get it all done. So I think we're good over here, Texas.
Good. Awesome.
And all
Awesome,
my
Dr.
teams won this weekend. So I'm like, great. Couldn't get any better than that. So I think it's Kathy. You're
Hey,
it.
Kathy.
Hello. I'm doing okay. I'm tired. I'm so tired. I think my biggest struggle right now is because my topic is so focused on a very specific piece of organization, mostly around employee retention, and I'm kind of living in this situation at work where it's kind of bumping up against what I believe, and I'm struggling a little bit there, where you know what I'm writing about doesn't really align with what I'm saying, and how do I feel about that, and how is it impacting me, and you know, can I be aligned with something that goes against the grain of what I stand for? So I'm struggling with that a lot. I wasn't anticipating that piece. I wasn't really thinking about how digging into these kind of things and around organizational development, I wasn't anticipating how it was going to change my perspective around my current career and all that. So I think that kind of caught me off guard a little bit. And then also from just a perspective, I feel like I'm still not quite sure how to fit in everything into my schedule that I need to fit in, like family. I noticed that like the dishes weren't done this morning, and I started, it's
I
like
know.
it's so dirty.
Oh,
Oh gosh. Like I have to make hard choices between the things that matter and the things that are can probably wait. And like two of them happen to be the fact that the dishes are not done and there's laundry on the floor drives me absolutely crazy. So I'm still trying to figure out that juggle. So I'm not really worried that much. It's more like it's just an added stressor. But the part about where do my views and opinions align with my current position and my organization, that part is kind of throwing me for a loop. I'm not gonna lie, that one's messing with my head a lot.
yeah. And you always got people, you got a lot of good people here in your cohort that have a lot of talent in advising and coaching and supporting. So I can tell you right on that edge emotionally right now. I can see that, you could cry right now if you allowed yourself to.
I will not. That was yesterday.
Yeah, it's okay. But if you did, that would be okay. And that'd be welcome here. That's where this is your place to have a safe place to be you and to be supported. And I can handle it. We can all handle it. You don't have to be strong with us. Okay. You can be vulnerable and allow us to support you. So that's one thing.
Kathy, I actually would cry with you if you cried. So just know that I am a very empathetic crier.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, I'm an empathetic crier and vomiter. So if someone throws up, I throw up immediately. If I see them anywhere, I can't help it. I just like, bam, I'm done. I'm out of it. So I'm both. I'm pretty empathetic in all those bodily functions, crying, vomiting, you name it,
I'm
So,
the same way, Dr. Katie. I once got out of school because I saw somebody throw up and I threw up, and so they sent me home as well.
I can't help it, man. I can't look. I'm like, oh, but my kids, I can handle that. They can do
I was
anything.
about to ask, how are you navigating parent?
Oh, I can handle the kid piece. That's just like, I don't know.
exactly
It's weird. It's like
It is.
they do all the nastiest stuff, and it's like All right, wipe your butt. Okay, you made a mess. All right, you just threw
Yep.
up all over me. That's okay. I'll just clean it off. We'll get
But
done.
anybody else?
Anybody else? I'm all over it.
Yep.
So yeah. So, but Kathy, you use the group. This is now your think tank support group, like the best team you could have to help you solve problems and navigate your way forward. Truly, this is a incredibly wise and talented group, and it's safe because whatever is shared here stays here, right? And so this is a safe place for you to talk about the things you need to. Now, with that, getting published, getting your stuff out, getting you working on this stuff sooner than later is my goal, because it starts to unlock your opportunities before you even graduate. So you might be asking people, what other opportunities might be out there? I might want to try something different. I might want to change jobs. I might want to go somewhere else. And you maybe put it out there and start thinking about that. And I have had lots of people change jobs, and like amazing jobs. Sometimes the paper you write is the paper you share with somebody, and they say, can you help us fix this in your own place? But you may not want to do that there. But there's I think you're in the right place. You'll get through this. And thank you for sharing that. Thank you for being willing to put that out there.
And thank
Anybody
you.
else? Yeah. Anybody else want to share anything before we move on?
I just wanted to share with Kathy, because we're in similar boats in regards to employee retention. One of my bolded words for my discussion was frustration, because I'm in the same boat at work in the system, and just like, why can't we make things better for me? Like, I need staff and it's more difficult. So I definitely understand those sentiments, especially in regard to employee retention.
I actually just want to make a comment about the dishes. So I'm slightly OCD, as my son tells me. And everything has a place, and everything's supposed to be in its place. And when I go to bed at night, there should be no dishes in my sink. Laundry should be folded and put away. Towels should be folded, tri-folded and put away. I'm very particular. However, there are dishes in my sink right now. There are dishes in my sink right now. And there have been times in the last few weeks, my son, he's a junior in high school, but he's doing dental assisting program half-time. He also has some developmental delays, so I'm trying to help him and do mine, right? And what I decided last night was, in the grand scheme of things, excuse me. Do the dishes matter? Nobody's coming to my house tonight. Nobody's coming to my house this morning. Yes, I can't stand to see them myself. But if I have to pick between the 20 minutes that I got to spend with my son laughing over the girls that he thinks are cute in his dental class versus messing with the dishes, I'm going to let the dishes go. And there are going to be other times where I'm going to have to make a decision like that and let something go that really has mattered to me so much in the past. But comparatively, it's not that big of a deal. It's just the dishes. And that's a hard lesson. One word I'm really learning in this program is intentional. I am being very, very intentional in my time, in my choices, in what matters, and what doesn't matter. And I think that's ultimately going to help me grow and help me to become a thought leader. Because this is a journey that not everybody takes. That's all.
Yeah, thank you for that. I agree with you. I really do.
Anybody else want to say anything before we move on? All right. So you can always start calling your own happy hours as a group where you all have a little beverage and sit and chat and talk and check in. You can always do that. You can, other cohorts have done that. And you can create other moments to connect in and stuff like that. So you all are already starting with your Facebook group and other types of tools. That's awesome. So just keep growing and developing and supporting each other. Great. So we're getting down to the end with Matt and Carol. Yeah, Carol, you want to say something?
I do want to say something. I'm amazed reading your posts and listening to you, how quickly you've become bonded and open and vulnerable. And we've had this, I've said this before, what I do is listen and then give you pieces of what I've learned in the moment, rather than giving you a whole list to read. And this is one of the most poignant conversations that everybody so far has had. And there was a small group discussion in one of the residencies that is going to end up as an article. And it's called The Blessing of the Bee. And it was a discussion about people, many in the cohort, who have been such high achievers that they've always gotten A's. And they came into the program and their goal is to get 4.0 in the program. How many of you have ever asked anybody what their grade point average was in their doctoral program? Steve, has anybody asked you what your grade point average was in your doctoral program?
My mom.
Really?
No, I'm kidding.
Oh, well, this isn't scientific. I haven't done a dissertation on it, but my informal knowledge is nobody has ever been asked that question. And so the story of the bee was that several people went through the whole program and their goal was still to get all A's. And two people who are very high achievers got a B in one of the first classes. And they said that was the most liberating experience, as much as they were horrified in the moment, because after that, they were in it to learn. Everything that was said about your concerns and your comparison to others, that's the really unique part of this, that you're only competing with yourself for what you need and want. And the words that Dr. Katie said today are all really true. I'm not sure if other cohorts actually had that much guidance about it. I think it took longer for it to come out. So I leave you with that. I hope it's helpful.
Yeah, thanks, Carol. Matt, you want to say any closing remarks, and then we'll be done for today. And Ogechi, hi. Hi, Ogechi. Maybe we'll just hold on one second. Maybe what we'll do is hold on for you. Ogechi, we're wrapping up. We just did a brief check-in. People have been just generally supporting each other and talking about that they're doing okay. That some challenges at work, some things are frustrating here and there, and that and they've been offering support and encouragement, saying it's all good and we're here for you, and that kind of thing, and how to focus and not get overstressed about little things like the dishes or this or that, and perfection and having everything perfect, because you're kind of you're still learning how to get all your time to fit into this new schedule, and sometimes things don't get done as well as they could.
Yep.
And I'm with you all, because I sometimes I feel like I'm never a good enough dad, and because I always could do more. And then when I see a little assignment that I wish I'd taken time to talk with my son about, and then I didn't do it, and I go, but when I look over the picture of a month, we've done a lot, and we do a lot of good stuff, So we were talking about those kinds of things, just and whatnot, and just any questions that you have. So how are you doing? And we're going to meet tomorrow to talk about the class, but if you have anything you need today about the class, that's fine. we want to make sure we kind of touch on it again tomorrow for everybody. But is there anything in the program in general, or how you're doing, and any questions that you have?
No, pretty much same thing. I think I'm gonna echo whatever everybody else said. Just trying to support one another, asking questions, reaching out, just trying to make each other laugh.
Yeah.
We can, yeah. So, yeah. Thanks.
Cool, great, thank you. And Matt, any closing comments?
I think you and Carol summed it up. I just say everything you guys are saying, cohort 3, we all went through the same and continue to go through the same thing, having the same discussions, same doubts. And you really see it as just a battle with self, and just perseverance is going to win. So keep going. Deborah, I was laughing about your dishes and stuff, and it kind of parallels with Dr. Katie just hit on a point. Because every day, I said it to myself too, like every day I can't be the best dad. So today, I'm going to be a great business owner. Tomorrow, I'm going to make sure I'm a better husband. The day after that, I'm going to be the best dad. And it's like taking all these silos of yourself, because the people that I've analyzed throughout life, the guy who, oh my God, this billionaire, hung out with him. Oh, super successful. Guess what? 10 marriages, kids don't like them, life. And so all that money in your life was crap because you took the one area and maximized it, but everything else went to the wayside. So I'm like, the point is balance. One day I'm going to be okay. I'm not the best husband, but tomorrow I'll be a better husband, and maybe my schoolwork kind of goes to the side. And it's doing that balance and living okay in that balance. And I think long term, we average out well, like Dr. Katie said. I look over the month, but overall, I was a great dad. Maybe today it took a back seat, but whatever. And I find peace and comfort in that. So other than that, everything you guys are saying, it's awesome. I'm kind of smiling because I'm like, yeah, okay. I had somebody there, Jen Traxler, she was in cohort 1 that I was in a lot of meetings with. And so she always helped me know that the feelings that I was going through were okay. It was normal. Keep pushing. You'll make your way through those feelings, and some more are going to come up. You're going to learn things, hopefully learn things about yourself that you thought you maybe beat in your younger years. And then you realize, oh, I'm revisiting that part of my personality. I need to, keep that in check. But that's growth, that's life. And that's why I love that this is truly an experience as a learning community that we're going through together. Iron sharpens iron. So other than that, thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of this.
That's awesome. Well, great. Any closing comments? Okay.
We got this, y'all.
Yep. Yep. Right on. I'm so glad to see you all. I love your discussion board post. You're doing a wonderful job on that. I look forward to the next one. I got it out last night. I didn't get to bed till like 2 a.m. working on stuff like last night. And so sometimes if I create work for you, it creates a lot of work for me. So it's like, so I don't take the easy route either, because I could, and you all are worth it. So I'm very grateful as well. We'll have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you all tomorrow that can make it. And again, this will be recorded, and we'll talk soon. Bye for now.
Thanks.